Here we go again. Byler's banter one more time. It's been brought to my attention that the NRC, the Netherlands Reformed Congregation, has put out a public notice, a manifesto more or less. It came out on August 26th of 2023, and they talk about the 70 years that they've been involved in the community of Norwich. I have a few things to say about that, but before I do that, I want to say that these are my opinions, mine and only. They don't reflect that of my family or my neighbors or my community or any clubs or associations that I belong to, strictly mine. I agree with some of the stuff that's in here, and I don't agree with some of the other stuff that's in here, and I'm going to talk about that. In the 70 years that they've been here, they suggest that they've had respect and overwhelmingly positive relationship with the community. I agree. I think that they've been good people, and I think that everybody has tried to get along, and I think that that should continue. However, I'm not sure that can happen, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. I've highlighted several different things in here that I want to talk about, and I've made some notes that I'm going to review once in a while, so bear with me. I'm going to try and keep this fairly short, but I don't know. Anyway, overwhelmingly positive relationship with the community, except for the past several months. They've been subject to harassment, vandalism, a lot of negative press. They're peaceful, law-abiding citizens, and I agree that that's true. However, I'm not sure that the elders know whether or not what their congregation is doing, because there are some thuggish type actions taking place in the community, and somebody needs to say it, and I'm going to be the one. They've had negative press, and they've been portrayed as a nefarious influence on the township of Norwich. Well, yeah. That's been the press that has portrayed that, and I think probably we need to discuss that. Now, they say for several months that they've been harassed and so on. I can tell you that for several years, people have bowed to the NRC and the Dutch community in general, not just the NRC, but the Dutch community at large. They've tiptoed around, they've done all kinds of things to appease them and try and keep peace in the community, and people are sick of it. They're sick of doing it, they're sick of being forced to do it, and we'll talk about that coming up here in just a few minutes. Let's talk for a moment about nefarious influences. The starter of the nefarious activity was a member of the Dutch community that lives in the township, Mr. Jacob Day, when he took down flags that had been legally erected with unanimous decision from the council. He took them down, and that is nefarious. It was theft. That is what started this whole schmozzle. And nobody can deny that, and if you do, you're kidding yourself. I want to remind you that those banners had been installed legally with the consent of the council, unanimously, and it's a shame that they came down. I don't understand why Mr. Day was so concerned about it when he doesn't even go to this church, and he doesn't have to pass by those banners on his way to his church, which is not in Norwich. They claim that it passed a vote in council to not put up the flags, and there was no public referendum. That's true, there was not. My guess is if there was, this probably would not be an issue, because based on my experience, I believe that there's overwhelmingly positive response for the LGBTQ community and in favor of flying flags. We'll talk about hate in a moment, but this really does revolve around hate. Again, you've got your head in the sand if you don't realize that. A little further down, it talks about coverage. This coverage includes extensive articles by Global News, CTV, CBC. All of the networks asked for comments, but none were given. That was reported in each of those articles. Nobody picked up their phone, or nobody would care to talk about anything on camera. They did do a man on the street interview with a Dutch fellow downtown, and I thought he did a pretty good job. Obviously, he had what it took to talk to the camera, and he didn't hide with his head in the sand. So the elders, the preacher, just like our mayor, chose the easy way out and chose not to make a statement. You had your chance to say your side, you had your chance to put it out there for everyone to see, and you chose not to do it. A little further on, it goes on to say that a number of women have been standing outside the church. That's true. But it's worded in a way that it sounds like it might be half a dozen or a dozen women every Sunday standing topless in front of the church. There's 2. I did a fact check on that today. There's only ever been 2 women topless in front of your church. And by the way, topless is legal. It's been declared legal since the 90s. So get over it. It's been called indecent exposure. Well, let's talk about that for a moment. I don't know how you can call a woman's breasts indecent. The purpose is for providing for their offspring. In many cases around the world, women go topless all the time. It's a natural, everyday thing. They say in their manifesto that it's been weaponized. I believe that it's been sexualized, and you folks have done it. The Dutch community have sexualized women's breasts, not weaponized, sexualized. Again, get over it. Now, let me take you to Holland for a moment. In the Netherlands, not only do they have topless beaches, they have nude beaches. So we're not talking about topless women, we're talking about nude men and women on the beach in some parts of Holland. In addition to that, Holland is a very progressive country, and Canada is just now catching up. We have assisted dying. They've had it for a long time. We've legalized marijuana. They've had that for a long time. We've now got gay marriage, finally. The Netherlands was the first country in the world to legalize same-sex marriage. Is this why you came here? Because you thought that you're going to get into a place that didn't have these things and never would? Let's get with it, folks. It's 2023. We're going to progress whether you go with us or whether you don't. Things are going to change, whether you like it or whether you don't. Get on board or stay behind. Again, the weaponizing of breasts, man, oh man, that's a stretch. And they indicate in their manifesto that people have deliberately offended and harassed the members of the church due to their Christian beliefs. I don't know about Christianity. I think we have freedom of religion in this country, and I'm happy to say that. And if that's what turns your crank, great. You go on about your way and have your Christianity. At the same time, you're eliminating a number of religions that may or may not think like you. So again, get over it. We don't have to toe the line for what you want. We have to coexist. We don't have to cater to you. Let me give you some additional thoughts that people have told me over the years. Things that need to be said, and again, I'm not here for a popularity contest. I'm not here to gain business. I don't care. I don't care what you think of me. And here's some thoughts that I've been told over the years, and I'm going to address them. If the NRC is so right in what they're doing, why have so many other churches sprung up locally? When a congregation members leave to start a new church, if you did a little soul searching and looked inward a little bit, I think you'd find that something's not right. Something's not right within your congregation. We have several Dutch-oriented churches, including the Baptist church, where many Dutch have now decided to go there. So I'd like to ask a question. Do you suppose that the NRC is the kingpin church with their thumb on all the other Dutch churches locally? Are you guys running the show? Do you operate the church in Salford? Do you operate the church in Otterville or Burgessville? Are you running the Baptist church? I know this sounds harsh, but these are questions that have been asked. And again, get over yourselves, folks. We have to exist with each other whether we like it or not. I have confirmed first-hand accounts of thug-like activity in which church members and businessmen have insisted that two LGBTQ flags come down from private property, or the businessmen that go to the NRC would quit doing business with the people who own the property that fly the flags. If that's not thug-like, I don't know what is. Their prerogative, they can do whatever they want. But they're trying to throw their weight around, and remember, we've catered to you people for a long, long time. People are getting fed up. Your timing on this public announcement, this manifesto that you put out, it really sucks, and it sucks for William Van Lagen, because this just could be the nail in the coffin that makes him unelectable. Is this your purpose? Is this the timing that you did on purpose so that he might not get in? Let's face it, William is a free thinker. He's a free man, he does his thing, and I don't think that he maybe is bowing to you folks as much as you'd like. So have you put this out now so it hampers his chance to get in? I'm also told by some of the campaigners on his behalf that women are now allowed to wear slacks in your church, and they're not as second-hand citizens as they once were. That's great. Good for you guys. Progress. But you're taking a bit of a step backwards here, and it's going to be at William's expense, unfortunately. For years, a large number of people have catered to the NRC. They've tiptoed around, and they've done things to try and keep the peace while giving you your way. These people are fed up with this, and they have indicated that they're not going to take it anymore. I'm the guy that's big enough that I can look you guys in the eye and say, you know what, this has got to stop. And I'd be glad to sit down with any of you and talk, one-on-one, two-on-one, whatever, because it needs to stop, and we need to get something straight. You guys can do your thing. You can have your church. Just don't bother us with it. Everybody's been saying the flags have been pushed down everybody's throat. Guess what? A lot of people, non-Dutch, are saying the NRC is pushing religion and Christianity down people's throats, and they don't like it. We've catered to you in the following ways. Canada Day was moved. Where else in the country does Canada Day get moved? Maybe a handful of places, but for sure in Norwich. And they did it because you guys didn't want it on a Sunday. Halloween has been moved. Many events that could be 3-day events are held as 2-day events because after midnight on Saturday, it becomes your Sabbath. What is so important about your Sabbath that you have to forego the Sabbath of other religions? You guys aren't the only game. You're not the only game in town, boys. There's all kinds of other religions that don't recognize Sunday as a Sabbath. And we have freedom of religion, and everybody has the right to worship on the day they wish, or not worship on the day they wish. We got a new store coming to town. I can't help but wonder when if and when the store opens on Sunday, will you shop there? I'm not talking about shopping on a Sunday. I'm talking about shopping at that store during other days, or will you boycott the store? You see, this is where the problem is, because it is perceived that you have a very, very powerful and large population in the area. And people, store owners, are afraid to go against your wishes because they fear losing your business. That's fine. Take your business elsewhere if you wish, but don't dictate what someone can do with their time. And we're getting close to the end here, so let's get ready to wrap it up. We got plenty of non-Dutch stores in town, and lots of non-Dutch shop at Dutch stores. I wonder, I've never done a study on this, so I'm just wondering out loud, how many Dutch folks shop at non-Dutch stores? You see, I think you would boycott a store that's not Dutch owned, whether they open on a Sunday or whether they don't. With the exception being, for sure, the exception is the grocery store, Foodland. But there's all kinds of other stores on the street, and I just wonder how many people from the Dutch community shop there. And finally, I just have one other question, and I don't foresee this ever happening, but I'm just wondering out loud, if a non-Dutch citizen in Norwich wanted to buy a condo or whatever you're calling those buildings that have been recently built on the church compound, could they or would they be discriminated against? Would you kind of shun them and not let them buy in your community? That would be very telling. So folks, with that, I'd like to say that I hope that we can get along. Somebody had to tell you this. I'm the guy. I hope that we can get along. I hope that we can coexist. And remember, I don't start out to piss people off, but it happens. Thanks for watching.